Morning world, welcome to Saturday, 8th of June. So I'm not expecting to find any, but I gotta check, just in case. They're all led down nice and peaceful. Hopefully they're not going to bother getting up, which means they probably will, but we're just going to have a little walk around the cattle and make sure we haven't got any newbies. So we've got 3 heifers yet to have calves. The one brown one I can see down there. All I'm looking for is small calves with no ear tags. That's what we're looking for. And when we finish looking for them, we're then going to go look at mowing grass and mull over what we're going to do in the time we've got. Morning, boys and girls. Good morning. That's got a tag in it. That's got a tag in it. They're big, so I don't really want to disturb them. So I'm not going to walk through the middle of them. Just going to go around the edge. No, don't get up. You can stay there. So literally that's all I'm doing. I'm looking for little black animals with no ear tags. I don't think I'm going to find any, but you never know. Ooh, big stretch. Right, that's one of our pregnant heifers. She's due. Pretty little girl she is. I call her Rosie. All right, you lot. One turn. That's not. No. Hello, Mary. Hello, darling. You having a wee? That's all right. You can have a wee and a scratch at the same time, isn't that? Lovely. Okay, that's another one of the heifers there. And she's definitely not got a calf on her either, so no new calves. Right, I'm going to walk towards the gate now, and they're going to get excited about that and probably follow me. Oh, he's going to a gate. Is he going to open it? I am, but only for me. So we're off to go and look at that and that. A lot of grass. Like I said on the first day of the month, we've got a lot of grass. We've got a hell of a crop of grass, and I've got to decide what I'm going to do with it. So a little bit thinner here in the gateway, but a lot of it's going to seed. But we've got a lot of meadow grasses, a lot of fescues and that in here. But if you look down inside here, what's the time now? It is 11 o'clock in the morning. And look at all the moisture still sitting on those leaves down in there. It's all wet. And the ground's still wet. If you look at the ground, this is exposed to the sun, but you've only got to go down half an inch. And there's still plenty of moisture in the ground. They're going to carry on now, making that racket. So it's going to be difficult to dry. So I've got a couple of things I have to consider. One, it's still plenty early enough to cut hay. This is going to seed, but it's not that early yet for hay. 21st, 22nd and 23rd of this month, I'm not even here. I'm going up to Scotland. So that is a window of, I can't do anything in that because I'm not here. But I'm umming and ahhing is, look at the weather and do I cut my own grass? So I've got the 10 acres at Pigeon mead, and I've got the 14, 15 acres down here, 25 acres. If I want to do it, I've got to cut it next week. but I need at least 10 days to dry it. So, but it would be quite nice to go to Scotland knowing I've done nearly half of it. It would be long hours, and you probably won't get any Sunday lives or anything like that because I'll be on the tractor spinning or moving or doing something like that. But yeah, all depends on the weather. Right, so we know we've got a good crop out here. We know it's not quite as good out there. This is the quandary. This is what we're doing. We are looking at, someone's been wandering off through there. I don't know who that was. Do I cut it next week? In the hope that I got it all baled and hopefully in the barn before I go to Scotland? Or do I just be patient and do it all when I come back? That just means it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks of absolutely flat out. Yeah. That may well have effect on videos. It may well be that I haven't got time to edit stuff. And I don't know. I mean, the farm's got to come first. Videos are always going to have to come second. But yeah, this would make hay now. You know, actually we'll put the camera that way. Plenty of clover. Plenty of bottom in it. And the seed heads at the moment, if I made that now, that would stay on there. If I turned it gently, I wouldn't knock the seed heads off, so lots of energy. Yeah, I wonder if they'll move the Royal Highland Show a month on. I can get it all done and have it done before I go. Don't fancy my chances very much. One of the reasons I mow the footpath is to keep folks on it, to keep them off the mowing grass, and the idea is to not walk across the mowing grass, because if you lie a bit down, say that bit there, you lie that down, to you or to somebody walking about, nothing, it's not a problem. But the problem with that is if we get a load of heavy rain coming down will go down through that and hopefully not cause a problem. But if you've got a bit of wind and rain and you've already got an area flattened, what happens is that area will spread out. So the rain and the wind will flatten that, and as it flattens, as grass grows down, it flattens the stuff in front of it, and you can end up with great big patches of flat grass. And the problem, when the grass goes flat and there's no sunlight to any of it, it goes rotten. And that's why farmers get really annoyed about folks wandering around on their mowing grass, especially the dogs are crapping in it as well because of the leptospirosis, tapeworm, all the other issues that your dog can carry. Yeah, if you walk on the footpath, and I know I go on about it, and I'm sorry, but for those who need the education, there's a reason why we don't want you walking all over it. Your careless and thoughtless footsteps across a piece of grass. I mean, we've had people out here with kids rolling in it before. You know, the kids have got, oh, let's roll in the grass. Well, no, don't do that. Because that little 5 metre patch that you rolled down flat that you thought nothing of, the next heavy rain storm that comes along with a little wind, that 5 metre patch turns into a 50 metre patch or a 150 metre patch. And then if that's down for 3 weeks before we can mow it, goes rotten, and we can't separate it out. It's, yeah, just stay on the path, don't do it. Neighbour's got a fair crop of grass out here too, although I know that it is much thicker up here on top of the bank, and you go down over the back there, it gets quite thin. So I'm assuming he's going to make hay out of that this year. Not sheep. Or hay and then sheep. That makes sense. Right, let's go through Mrs. P's gate and have a look at the grass next door. Bit thin there, but then there's a reason for that. 2 reasons, in fact. One reason is this corner floods, so a lot of the grass here got suppressed by the wet weather. And two, if you look at all the little crisscross tracks in it, rabbits. We have a lot of rabbits out here. I also think, I can't be certain, but I think there might be a roe doe out here and she might have a calf, which is a worry for me. If you follow this long enough, you know the risk, well, not so much we take, but she takes in having her calf in this grass. So little deer calves will not move. You can literally walk right up to them and more or less kick them before they'll move. And if they're tiny, I mean, you're talking of something that's like 3 times the size of my hand, that's well camouflaged and curled up in that grass, somewhere out there. We've more or less, on the tractor, I mean, when you're mowing, you're not hanging around, you're not doing half a mile an hour, you're doing like 7-8 miles an hour sometimes. And sometimes the only time you find that calf is after it's gone through the mower, which, if it doesn't affect you when that happens, there's something wrong with you. I hate it, but yeah, anyway, we have got another reasonable crop of grass out here. Not as thick. This was going to be the field that if we were going to graze one, it was going to be this one. There's quite a lot of buttercup out here, which will bitter it up, but this was also the field with the most badger activity. So there's a badger latrine down that fence line. And I got 2 choices, and that is to fence that latrine off completely, which is a bum ache, or don't let the cattle out here, mow this for hay, and then they don't go near that. And the thing is, I don't want my cattle near badger latrines. We've got a TB test coming up next month, and I can't afford to go down again, because that had me locked down till Christmas, and that will cause problems. And that is the reason we have not, as yet, organised a bull. Because if we go down with TB, I can't have a bull. Not sensibly. So it might be we have to go AI or something. We'll see. Yeah, so not such a good crop out here. This is a bit thin, but I want to muck this field. So I want to get the grass off of it. The cattle will be shut out. And then one of those big piles of muck we've got up at home can come out here, and that will at least get rid of a portion of it. And then later in the year, we'll do that field out there perhaps. Or pigeon mead. We'll see how it goes. There's an example of a bit of grass starting to go down. Now, that's got nothing to do with anybody walking across it. That can be just sometimes a little whirlwind. Something has come across here and then gone that way. You can actually see the path of it, and it's laid the grass down. But this can happen with grasses, it can happen with your cereal crops, your wheat, your barley, and it is farmer's nightmare, especially on cereals, because pigeons and your pest birds can't or do not like to land in a tall crop like that. They don't like it, so it keeps them off. The minute you got a bit led down and it's lying flat, your pest animals are happy then to land on it, and then their activity on there just emphasizes the problem, and they end up pushing down even more. So yeah, don't walk across crops like I am this, so, but don't walk across long grass. If there's a path, stay on it, please. Right, so this is the last pasture I'm gonna let the cattle into. This is just a little paddock. It's not even 1/4 of an acre really, but so these bits down here, it's too much hassle to make hay out of these. They're too small, they're not worth it. We actually constructed these 3 little paddocks for Abby, for her sheep. Of course, she doesn't do that anymore because she hasn't got time. She's far too busy at work now to commit to looking after livestock. So, yeah. I think they've got another couple of days out there yet before I open the gate into here. That's the problem with cattle on this size grass. Most of it gets flattened, and once it's flattened, they don't want to eat it. So, strip grazing, that's what you should do, but that's an awful lot of hassle for little diddy paddocks. Yeah, they've got plenty left out there yet to work their way into. If you look at the track up, we've got a bare bit of ground there, no tree above it, and under here is lush. Underneath the field maple goes a bit bare again, come to another field maple that's overhanging the path, another lush bit of grass, go past the field maple and it stops. So what do you reckon that is? I think I know. It's all got to do with fungus. So, friendly fungus. Right, so we've established right now, right this minute, I wouldn't cut anything today because 11:15 in the morning, the ground is still soaking wet. So that's what the cattle have done with the first paddock, and that is pretty neat. They made a pretty good job of that. All I want them to do now is do the same to that one. So, less walking all over it, more eating it. So, they will. Right, let's go and see what's left of those that bale I put in there last night. So, I put one of Reg's bales of silage in the feeder last night. So we'll go and see how much of that they've had in, well, 18 hours. Something like that. They've not demolished it, but they've given it a reasonably good bashing, although I expect a third of it's actually on the floor. Thing is, I've got so much of that. 90 bales of that. I kind of need to get it gone, and no one's going to want to buy it because there's loads of stuff around this year are fresh, so it's got no value to anybody else. So I've either got to feed it and put it through the cattle, which is pretty much what I'm going to do, or I have to get rid of it. And 90 bales of silage, if you've ever tried to get rid of a bale of silage, it's the devil's own job. But at least we made a start on this. So that wall's clean, that wall's clean, that wall's clean, and that wall's clean. So I actually thought that one was going to be the easiest of all of them to clean. So I don't know if you've noticed this. If you know anything about concrete panels in barns, you know there's a soft side, a smooth side, and a rough side. So the smooth side is normally the compression side, as in the face you push against. And that's not it. This is the rough side. And we did that because ground level outside is about there. So we put the smooth side facing outwards and put these panels on the outside of the post. So all the forces outside, compression of the ground and everything else is pushing against the posts this way. And because we've got like a solid mass up to there, I'm still pretty safe and secure pushing against this side, as long as I'm not pushing up here, pushing at the bottom for picking up muck. So yeah, so this is kind of retaining wall for outside ground, which is like I say up to about there, at least halfway up the panel. So the smooth side's on the outside. And I thought the smooth side would clean off easier, but to be honest, hardly any difference. So this didn't have that much on it, and it got pre-wetted when I was washing the gate off, So, because I washed the gate off first deliberately against the wall, so I pre-wet with warm water, or hot water, any muck that was on there. So when I came to blast that off, I thought it would fly off much quicker than that. Didn't make a blind bit of difference. So, yeah. Anyway, kind of sorted that out by working at the water pressure on that. We've upped the water pressure on the farm. I'm umming and ahhing. That pressure reduction gauge I've been messing about with is 20 years old. I've got it open. It's about 80, somewhere between 80 and 100 pounds to put a new one in there. Do I bite the bullet and replace that one while I've got the hole open? And then I've got plenty of time, because we're not going to have any frosts anytime soon. I can then maybe put a proper manhole cover over that, because the bit of pipe I had before, there was no way you could adjust. That was really just to say, well, there it is, that's where it is. But you couldn't get in there and adjust it. So I have got a spare manhole cover. I have got a couple of plastic manhole forms. It's only a case of, well, I haven't got enough there. Mixing up some aggregate, some cement, putting a floor in, putting some forms in, concrete around them, sticking a manhole cover on it. So that would be doing the job properly. So it would be nice to get it done properly. So, right, okay. We've had a walk, check the cars, cup of tea time. Welcome back. It's gone lunchtime. 2:45 in the afternoon, blimey now, doesn't time fly? So I got a little job to do, not with that. So I'll shut the door on that. I've got a little job to do with that and that. So the topper needs to come off soon, and I was reminded that I promised to do a little bit of grass cutting. It's my grass, so it's not a problem, but I had promised to do it, to tidy it up, so we're going to go and do that now while I'm thinking about it. Anyway, we're going to pop just down a road to the little paddock we got down the road here, and just do a bit of a roadside topping. And then I think what we might do is have a wander up Pigeon mead later on, because from here it looks like we've got a hell of a lot of grass up there. Hell of a lot of grass. Right, lots of lights. And right, we're just going to lift the bonnet, because while I was doing that, the brake fluid light only flashed. It was only a flash, but we will just check it in case it wants topping up again. How are we looking? No, that's still okay. Okay, just a little glitch. Oh, you've left me lights on. I really don't like those LED lights. I really don't know why I bought them. I think at the time I thought it was a good idea. In hindsight, They are awful. So do not put LED flashy lights on your tractor, because if nothing else, they completely mess up the radio. Yeah, right, looks like someone's already been out here.
Somebody's been led down here.
Yeah, but someone's been walking through here as well. Someone's been round here. Right, we'll go up that way actually.
You start to get wet and going home.
Shouldn't be too bad now. Yeah, but the ryegrass has gone. Well, that's tit high, that is. Keep going.
You can go in front.
Oh, all right.
You can drive.
Okay. I'll go on the thinner bit then.
Oh, I see. Because in me, you put me at the quick bit, aren't
No. No, you would have found the thin bit, wouldn't you? You would have found it. What a difference a month makes. And a bit of fertiliser.
But it's still...
It's compacted here.
Right?
This is compacted on the side here.
Yeah.
Not only that, we've got a lot of rabbits. So you can see where the track's coming in at the hedge.
And a hole.
So, well, that's badgers. So we've got lots of badgers around here. We've got loads of badgers. But if you look, there's rabbit shit everywhere. So, and this is badger track. So we might as well follow him. But yeah, there's a few bales out there. Well, I mean this, if you look at the state of the ground, it's still wet. I mean it's dry, but the ground's still wet, look.
Right, so that is...
Hey? Yeah, not quite chin high. So if we're making silage, we've no problem mowing this, cutting this, or even haylage probably. But well, the thing is, we've got that much grass this year. This is a productive lay, but am I considering maybe because it is a bit thin in places, letting it actually, while it's a bit thin, letting some of this go to seed, and we'll overseed ourselves. But there is a lot of grass out here. It's just from the hedge, the first 10 metres out from the hedge is thin because of the rabbits. That's wind. Wind to do that. There's lots of little flat spots out there from the wind. Right. Okay. Do you want to carry on or you've had enough? Right, let's carry on. I want to have a wander up over there and make sure they're not chucking their crap over our edge again. Yeah, there's a few. That's the badger. Yeah, bloody badgers. What? What? What have you found? Yeah, that's badger, look. He's been there digging. They're digging at the old cobs from the maize.
Yeah.
They're obviously finding the odd. And there, look. Blugger. Like there, look.
Yeah, like here, look. It's got another cob there.
Yeah, and here. Down there, look. But it damages everything. Everywhere. He's been digging everywhere. The git. Yeah, no, that's one of the places he's coming in. But he's always been coming in there, and he goes in and goes that way. And occasionally he goes that way. Hell of a crop of grass. Look at it. I can have more bales and know what to do with.
No, I don't think we'll ever.
Well,
I don't think we'll ever have more bells than we know what to
I reckon we're going to do everything on first cut this year. Yeah, first cut. Look at it. There's 100 bales out here, I reckon. Oh, yeah. And the difference is that didn't get any fertiliser. but it didn't really need it. There's still a load of grass out there. Okay, we'll fight our way right into the gate again. I'll go in front of my Pathfinder.
How many hectare acres is this?
So this and that little paddock together,
No, just
just this one, would be about 8.5.
8.5 acres or hectares?
No, a hectare is 2.5 acres, or 2.48 something or other. Not quite 2.5. So
This is how many 8 acres?
this is be about 8.5 acres in here. Yeah.
Right.
That's about another 1.5 in there. So it's 10 acres.
10 acres.
It's 10 acres. So Pigeon mead and that paddock together are 10 acres.
Yeah.
Oh, badger's been in there as well. Look. Hard work walking through, isn't it? You're complaining the badger made a good enough path. I don't want him out here. I just don't want him in here at all.
You're going to be out here. You at least do a decent path on
The one, yeah, well actually, do you know what? I forgot to tell you. I was out in the field yesterday and I heard this squealing. Remember that squealing we heard?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I heard it again down on the golf course. And it was a doe, muntjac, being chased by a buck. And she'd left the calf behind by the wire, couldn't get out. And he was screaming to get to his mum.
So you had to help?
Well, actually, when I got down there, he managed to find his way out. But he made quite a racket. But yeah, this in here I think is muntjac doing this. I think this is a buck and a doe messing about in here. It's too flat for a roe deer. I reckon he chased her under the gate and then she went out under the hedge down there. Bit more sandfoin. Natural wormer. And again, we don't mind that. It's good herbage, that is. You wouldn't want to do a 10-mile hike through this stuff, would you? Bloody hell. Tops of my thighs are feeling it at the front.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whew.
I'm not walking on your back.
Yeah. Right, 100 bales, I reckon. 4'6".
I'll tell you what, whoever guesses nearest to the bales will send them a mug.
Was that whoever guesses the nearest number? Well,
The bales will send them a mug.
yeah, but there could be 50 people that do
No,
that.
the one person that gets to the nearest bales.
Oh, right.
gets
Yeah, but there's only going to be...
First one.
Oh, right, the first one. All right. Mrs. P says the first one that guesses the right number of bales. Put your guess in the comment box below. The first one.
We'll get a mug.
Get a mug. All the things we've got to find out to get your address and where you are. So don't expect it too quick. It's our idea, okay? Oh, I really can't be asked to undo the chain.
Oh,
Right,
breathe.
let's go and walk on some short grass.